Welcome back, everybody. We're diving deep today into something both fascinating and, honestly, a little unnerving. We're talking about UAPs, those unidentified anomalous phenomena.
You know, the ones folks often call UFOs.
Exactly, UFOs.
Hmm.
But alongside that, there's been this surge in drone sightings, too, and it's particularly clustered around, get this, sensitive military installations.
Yeah, it's like something out of a movie, isn't it? And we're going to be pulling from a bunch of different sources today to really dig into this. We've got transcripts from congressional hearings, some expert commentary from YouTube, and of course, news reports to round things out.
It's wild, right? Because we've got these former intelligence officers talking about recovered UAP materials, even saying they've got biologics. And at the same time, these mystery drones are buzzing around military bases. Makes you wonder if truth is stranger than fiction.
Absolutely. And what's really grabbing me is the lack of clear answers we're getting and how these two things, the UAPs and the drones, could actually be connected somehow. There are so many questions about what the government's actually doing, what kind of threats we're facing, heck, even what's real anymore.
Okay, so let's break it down. We've got to start with that congressional hearing on UAPs from back in July 2023. It was explosive. I'm talking about David Grush, the former intelligence officer who basically dropped a bomb by saying the government has retrieved UAP materials.
Oh, yeah. Gresh's testimony was a big moment for sure, claiming these materials weren't from Earth, even saying they had biologics that sent shockwaves through, well, everywhere, really. Scientists, the public, everyone, it just adds a whole new layer to what UAPs could actually be, where they come from.
It's mind-blowing when you really stop to think about it. And then there's Ryan Graves, that former Navy pilot, testifying about his own UAP encounters during training. His story, along with what so many other pilots have said, really makes you question what technology is actually out there.
I agree. Graves and those other pilots, what they've seen just doesn't fit with what we're supposed to know about how things fly, about physics even. Makes you think the government needs to be a lot more open about what's going on.
Couldn't agree more. And it's not just those UAP encounters making people question the government's honesty. We've got to talk about those drone sightings, especially the ones over New Jersey. People saw circular orbs. Some described them as looking like embryos or saying they were massive with some sort of field around them. They're seen over houses and military bases, too.
It's scary, right? Nobody seems to know where these drones are coming from or what they're doing, and that includes New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy. He's even said he's frustrated by the lack of answers.
Think about that. Even high-up people in the government are being left in the dark. If they don't know, who does?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? This lack of transparency, well, it makes you wonder what's really going on, what their motives are. This is where someone like Chase Hughes comes in. You know, he's that specialist in psychological operations. His analysis gets really interesting here.
Oh, right. Hughes is the one who suggested we might be seeing a whole campaign of manipulation, something designed to make people afraid. He's got a point, too. Think about things like the Gulf of Tonkin incident or Operation Northwoods times when the government straight up staged things to control what people believed or to start conflicts. Scary stuff. Makes you realize things aren't always what they seem.
Yeah, and Hughes's insights are even more relevant when you think about what people are actually seeing with these drones, their descriptions, those weird flight patterns, being over places they shouldn't be. Maybe it's all meant to make people feel uneasy, on edge, you know?
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is this some plan to scare people so they accept more surveillance, more control? Hughes seems to think that's a real possibility.
Hughes definitely leans that way. But then you've got someone like Ross Coulthart, the investigative journalist. He's got a lot of contacts in intelligence. And his analysis, which he does in these segments called Reality Check, presents a different angle.
Right, Coulthard's sources are saying these drones belong to some enemy country, which at first sounds pretty believable. But even Coulthard himself admits he's not so sure, especially with how advanced these drones seem to be, and there's no real proof they're linked to any specific country, you know.
He's got a good reason to be skeptical, that's for sure. And he brings up a good point comparing this to the Chinese spy balloon incident earlier this year. It's like, why all the fuss over the balloon, but not these things? It's weird how they're handling it. It makes you wonder what the real story is.
It does feel like they're trying to downplay how serious these drones might be, while simultaneously freaking everybody out with all these vague explanations and mysterious statements. It's enough to give you whiplash.
You said it. And Coulthart really hammers home the point that Nobody's being transparent, not the government, not the media, just adds to the confusion, and people start filling in the blanks with their own theories, which, might not be the whole picture. This whole thing is just messed up, and we're not getting straight answers. That lack of transparency is key, really. It gets us to what this whole deep dive is about, looking at the evidence and what it means. And that means going over the details that just don't add up.
Okay, yeah. Let's get into some specifics. We've got some experts saying these could be super advanced drones from some enemy, but then others are like, nope, these are totally different from anything we've ever seen. It's a lot to take in.
I know, right? But let's stick to what we're actually seeing.
Yeah.
People are saying these drones hover for hours. Hours. Our tech, at least what we're supposed to know about, can't do that. Batteries are a problem, and we're talking about sightings way longer than anything we've got, military or otherwise, could handle.
That's a really good point. And it's not just the hovering. They're reportedly making these sharp 90-degree turns at high speed, stuff that should be impossible based on how things fly. And people are saying they can operate in crazy weather, like storms and wind, no problem.
It's like they're not even affected by the weather, which is bizarre. It all points to tech that's way beyond what we understand. And then there's this. People have tried to jam them, control them, and it doesn't work. Like they're immune to anything we throw at them.
Okay, that's both cool and super creepy, especially when you factor in that they're being seen over these really important military places. What does that mean? What are the implications?
It's not good, that's for sure. Especially now, with everything going on in the world. Coulthard mentioned how they just approved those Storm Shadow missiles for use in Russia. And supposedly we've got elite military units out there trying to catch whoever's launching these drones. It all feels very tense, very serious.
Yeah, it does feel like something big is about to happen, maybe even something bad. What if these things aren't just watching? What if they're testing us, seeing how we react?
It's scary to think about. But beyond the whole security aspect, there's an even bigger question. What are they actually doing? What's their goal here?
Right. Are they just spying? Or is it about sending a message, messing with people's heads, like Hughes was saying?
And this is where analyzing things from a psychological operations perspective comes in. Hughes thinks governments might use tactics like this to distract people, make them scared, or even get them ready for something they're not telling us about. It's a bit of a rabbit hole, but we can't ignore it based on what we're seeing.
Wait, are you saying this could be some master plan?
Yeah.
Like they're trying to gaslight us into believing something that's not true?
Gaslighting is a strong word. It implies they're being intentionally malicious, and we can't say that for sure without more proof. But it is suspicious that some people who've posted about these drones online, their accounts got deleted or censored. Why try to hide this stuff, control the story, unless there's something to hide?
That is weird. And don't forget, in December, that federal drone bill that New Jersey Governor Murphy supports, it's up for updates. Makes you wonder if they're planning to give themselves even more power to use drones in our airspace. Feels like a slow slide into more surveillance, more control.
You're hitting on something important. The timing of this drone bill update alongside these unexplained sightings. Yeah, it could be a way to make us think drones everywhere are normal, even if we don't know who's flying them or why. It's like they're using fear, making us uncertain, so we just get used to drones being part of life.
That's messed up when you put it like that.
What?
What about the people seeing this stuff firsthand? It's got to be doing something to them, right? All this weirdness.
Oh, for sure. The psychological side of this is huge. People are scared, anxious. They feel like they're being watched. Not knowing who to trust, it makes you feel vulnerable, like you're not safe. And that loss of trust, feeling helpless, that can be just as bad as any physical threat.
It's strange, right? We're talking about these super advanced drones that seem impossible, but then we feel powerless, like we're just pieces being moved around in some game we don't even understand.
You're spot on, and it leads to a really important question. Is all this just about spying and making people afraid? Or could it be something bigger, something more important that we're just starting to figure out?
It does feel like we're on the verge of something huge here, something that could change how we see the world. But what could be bigger than all this surveillance or even trying to scare people? Like you said, something more significant.
Well, we've talked about how they might be trying to change what people believe, get us ready for some big secret. But what if what they're hiding is even wilder than we think?
Okay, now you've got me really curious. What are you getting at?
Remember Grush, that intelligence guy? He said the government's got stuff from UAPs, even biologics. If that's true, we're talking about tech way beyond anything we know. But what if those biologics mean something even bigger?
Are you saying alien life? Like proof
It's possible, isn't it? And think about this. There have been reports of nuclear material going missing in the U.S., stuff being transported and just disappearing. What if it's all connected? What if these drones aren't just watching but looking for something?
Whoa, you mean they could be searching for this missing nuclear stuff, maybe to cover it up or keep it out of the wrong hands?
Exactly. And all the secrecy, the deleted posts, the trying to control what people say, it makes more sense if that's what's happening. Use the drones, the UAP talk, all of it as a distraction, a smoke screen for something bigger.
So it's not just about controlling people's minds, it's about covering up something huge, something really bad.
It's a possibility, as crazy as it sounds, and it makes you think, what are they hiding? What would happen if this nuclear stuff got out? And who can we even trust at this point?
Man, it's like we're trapped in some spy movie, all twists and lies. Hard to know what's real anymore.
It's a lot, that's for sure. But that's why it's so important to keep asking questions, to keep digging, and to not just accept what they tell us. We can't be sheep, just believing whatever they say. Not anymore.
You're right. We can't just sit around and wait for them to give us answers. We have to be smart, think for ourselves, and demand that those in charge tell us the truth.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's what we want you to take away from this deep dive. We're living in crazy times, new tech, a world that feels unstable and things happening that we don't even understand. Gotta be careful, think critically, and make those in power answer to us.
Well said. And to everyone listening, keep your eyes open, your minds sharp, and never stop questioning.
Yeah.
Like they say, the truth is out there somewhere.
Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay curious.